So I feel attacked. This post might make me literally cancel my destination bachelorette party. Because I'm not a bridezilla, right? I am making it my mission to not be a bridezilla. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin, and I am the Erintainer, and I am here to Erintain you. And I know that that's a little bit of a corny name, but you know what they say, I'm so corny, it's charming. And I bet there's someone out there who is also so corny, it's charming. Please tell me I'm not alone. Cringe factor is like 1,000, right? But you're here and you're watching, and I appreciate you for it. Hit that subscribe button before it's too late. Today we have a doozy for you. I'm getting married this year, and I am doing a destination bachelorette, but we're staying in the United States. We are going across the country, but we're staying in the United States. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I went to my friend's destination bachelorette last year, and it was super, super fun, and everyone seemed to be having a great time. So I thought that this is like what you were supposed to do when you get married. But now I'm seeing online that people are complaining. So now I'm literally like, is this okay? Should I be doing this? I don't know. I don't want anyone to be mad at me. Okay. So we are just going to jump right into some of these bridezillas. These wild, wild, wild brides. Okay, here we go. $1,500 plus bachelorette? Question mark, exclamation point. I am in a bridal party where the bride recently moved across the country. 10+ hour flight with 1 to 2 connections. Dang, where do you live? How big is your country? I'm just like doing math in my brain because like I live on the East Coast, and from my city, it only takes like 3 hours to get across the country. So I'm like, where you live? Okay. The wedding is thankfully still 45 minutes away from where I live, so attending isn't so much the issue. The main issue is that she planned a last-minute bachelorette back in January that I told her upfront I would not spend $2,000 to attend a weekend girls' trip to Nashville when the only plan was bar hopping. I don't drink, and I don't know anyone except for the bride in the bridal party. All the others said they would go, but backed out last minute, and it ended up not happening. Ooh. Yikes. I mean, that sucks. But I also I have a couple sober or like people who just don't drink bridesmaids in my bridal party. And honestly, if they were like, hey, I don't really want to come and pay a cover charge for these places I can't really even enjoy, I would be like, totally fine. Come and you can go get a late night massage or whatever while we're partying. Like, do your thing, whatever. And I keep saying, like, I'm not even going to get that drunk at my batch party, but I probably will. Okay. Now, a few weeks ago, the maid of honor sent a group text to 5 bridesmaids that the new bachelorette party will now be a joint party with the groom's party in the city they moved to. I was on the fence about attending because plane tickets will still be $600 to $700 since it's a holiday weekend, but I figured it would be okay to suck it up and be there for my friend. Since then, they confirmed an Airbnb that's relatively cheap, but it's going to be the guys and girls staying in the same house. No, that alone. No. Maybe 1 or 2 other couples, but 5 couples, unless you're all like besties for the resties of your life. I don't know if I would. I don't know. That's a lot of people in a cabin. I've stayed at like places where there's like a crap ton of people in a cabin and something always goes awry, you know? Ugh, okay. I asked if there would be other couples there, and she confirmed there would be, but I can't bring my husband because there's not enough room in the house. I was never asked, but I guess the other bridesmaids were asked if they wanted to bring significant others. That's weird. If everyone else is bringing their partner, I would want to bring mine. Okay. I asked what activities we were planning on, and the response I got was that it's basically everyone staying at the house all weekend, drinking and playing games. Look. Okay, listen. I don't know if this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but this is just what came into my mind. just because like someone's getting married doesn't necessarily mean that like everyone has to do like all of the activities because the bride likes to do that activity. I love drinking and playing games at a cabin. Like I would love to. I mean, I've done that before with friends and it's been fun. It's been great. I love going to a mountain cabin, chilling, kind of like turning off my phone and just kind of playing games with friends. I love that. But if I'm put in a situation where like I don't know half the people there and it feels like cabin fever, like we're just going to be stuck in this cabin all weekend and we're not going anywhere and we're not, I don't know. For me, that feels a little like, and you don't get your safety net, your like security blanket, which is your husband or your partner. I don't think that's really fair to you if you're going to spend all this money. Plus, everyone, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like kind of torn because on one hand, I'm like, yeah, it's your friend's special day. Suck it up and go. But on the other hand, I'm kind of like, I don't know. It doesn't sound like a real event. It sounds just kind of like, oh, this will be fun. Like, so my friend got married in Puerto Rico last summer. And after her wedding, she got a cabin in the rainforest and was like, anyone who wants to come can come hang out with us in the rainforest. And it wasn't like an official wedding event. It was more of like, if you want to tack on a day on this trip, this is what me and my new husband are going to be doing. And it was so much fun. I think do something like that, especially if it's like, so now you're going to have to take 2 trips to wherever town they've moved to. I guess you said the wedding is closer, is nearby. It just sounds like a lot of money to go on like a cabin trip. I don't know where you live, but if someone was like, hey, fly across the country to come stay in a cabin with 5 strangers and their boyfriends for a weekend, I'd be like, there are literally cabins like an hour north of here that have wineries next to them. I'll just do that. But also it is like a wedding event. I don't know, guys. I'm torn. I'm a little torn. But that's how I am. I'm a Gemini. It's like I can see all sides. I would probably end up going. I would probably just suck it up and have a good time and go because I'd want to support my friend. But let's just keep reading. I know she's still the type to want to go to fancy expensive dinners and have us pay, and she also wants all of us to show up days in advance and one day after they booked the house, so I'd have to take 3 days off of work. So it'll probably end up being $1,500 for food, housing outside of the 2 nights they rented this house, and the plane tickets. We are also going to have to pay for our own dresses, hair, makeup, whatever else comes up for the wedding. I can afford this, but that also means I'm not going on vacation with my husband this year. He says he trusts me and it's up to me, but I'm also extremely uncomfortable being in this house with a bunch of couples and singles that are drinking. I don't know anyone. Ugh. I'd rather spend the money on a vacation with my husband. I want to be there for my friend because she was my maid of honor last year, but this is a lot. Is this a completely unreasonable ask of the bridal party, or is there a nice way I could tell her I'm not going? See, here's the thing, and I think I've been learning this as I get older, is obviously you don't want to, as a bride or groom, expect that there's just buckets of money at the feet of your groomsmen and your bridal party, right? Like when I at first like reached out to my bridal party, I literally sent out a Google Sheets and was like, hey, what's everyone's budget if we did a bachelorette trip and where would you all want to go? Because to me, I'm like, I don't want anyone spending hundreds of dollars going to a place where they're like, oh my God, I've been here like 20 times, or I just can't afford to go, or this is just like way too out of my price range, or it's way too far, you know? Like I don't want anyone to feel like, let's say someone like the bachelorette party I went on last year, it was a cruise, and I normally wouldn't be like, yeah, let's go on a cruise, but I was like, no, I know a few of the girls going on this thing. I love the bride. It's going to be fun. I can shill out $700 for like 3 days on a cruise with unlimited food and drink. Like that sounds great. And then like buy the plane tickets to, you know, Orlando or wherever we left the cruise from. So it was like a fun experience, but not everyone looks at it like that. And I just think nowadays, like if you are accepting someone's request to be a bridesmaid, you have to anticipate that it is going to cost you probably at least $1,000 when it's all said and done. I think it's just become, in America anyways, and as far as the friends that I've seen get married and friends of friends, it seems like it is always quite expensive. Of course, not everyone does a bachelorette trip. Me and my friends, we love traveling. Like, I know most of my bridesmaids adore traveling, and I'm also making sure, or trying my best to make sure, it stays within people's budgets. And it's like, yo, if you don't want to go ATVing one day, you can stay at our villa, and like I'll go with whoever wants to go. Like, I don't want anyone to feel obligated to do anything. And if any of them came to me and was like, this is too expensive, I can't make this work, I would be like, okay, that's totally fine, and I would eat the cost of it. And I'm also not making anyone pay for me, because I think that that's a little overkill. Like, and get me a gift, I'm literally going to tell my bridesmaids, like, I don't want a gift from you. My present is your presents. And like the dresses and the makeup and all of that, it's like, it's a lot to ask of people for your special day, your like most special day. So I think there has to be like a middle ground. And I think it's unfair to expect that everyone you invite to be in your bridal party can afford all of the things that you want to do. And you have to at some point accept the fact that, like, okay, well, maybe not everyone is going to be able to come to my bachelorette party if I do a vacation. Or when you get asked to be a bridesmaid, say like, look, I would love to be a bridesmaid. I have kind of a limited budget right now. Can you give me a ballpark, or like kind of an idea, if you have like a budget, of how much my dress will cost and the shoes and all of that fancy stuff? And just so you know, if there's a destination honeymoon, and just so you know, if there's like a destination bachelorette party, I can't guarantee I can come depending on how far away it is, because like I kind of have like a set budget for this year. And if this bride is your friend, they should understand. So it's like you have to kind of, both sides have to meet in the middle, like I literally was like, what's everyone's budget? And it was an anonymous poll, and that way I have an idea of like, ooh, okay, so if let's pretend like everyone's budget is around $500. Okay, cool. Well, I know how much they can spend on accommodations and how much they can spend on the flight, and I'm going to try to keep it all under that, and then have the understanding of like anything else you want to pay food-wise, activity-wise, additionally on the trip is up to you. You can say yes or no. It's not going to like hurt my feelings, because it is a lot to ask. It's expensive. And I think we just have to be more accepting that like people have boundaries, especially when it comes to finances. And just because you're getting married doesn't mean you can demand everyone give you their money and like not go on their family vacation that year because they want to make sure they get to go to your wedding. Like, that's not really fair. Honestly, if any of my bridesmaids were like, hey, I have this family trip that I just, now budget's getting tight, I can't afford it, I'd be like, okay, like, if I can find someone to fill your spot, that's fine. I'll try to refund you the money. I guess I'll eat the cost. I'll just get a third job and keep this train moving. All right. What did other people think, right? So someone just said, you guys have fun. I'll catch up with bride at next event. Someone says, agreed. No one else gets to spend my money. I'm sorry, I'll miss it. Sounds really fun is all you need to say. Yeah, I mean, someone says you could take a really nice vacay for that. No one's wedding is worth that price. It's ridiculous that brides put this financial burden on people. It's tacky and disgusting. And it's not even the actual wedding, but just a bachelorette party. People have gone insane with wedding expectations. You do not need an expensive bachelorette party. Modern weddings disgust me. Dang, I feel personally attacked. But seriously, I think, everything I needed to do to make sure that like no one felt like I was asking too much of them. And girlies, if you see this video and you're like, bitch, I can't afford any of that shit, then just tell me. We'll make it work. Trust me, we will make it work. I literally like picked the cheapest Airbnb that would fit all of us to try to accommodate everybody, because I was like, we've got all spectrums of income here. I just want everyone to have a good time, so we're getting the cheapest spot. That is what we're doing. Oh, gosh. I feel personally attacked. I'm like, did I make the right decision doing a destination bachelorette party? But I already know if you might see them in the comments. They'll be like, yes, we're not rescheduling this. We're not changing it. You see my anxiety like rising slowly as I keep talking? We got to go to the next one before my brain like literally explodes. Wait, though, there is an update. After reading all the comments, I feel less crazy about how ridiculous this whole thing is. I contacted the bride to let her know my concerns and that I would not be attending the bachelorette, but I'm still excited for the wedding and festivities when she's in town. She wrote a whole novel about how wedding planning is on pause. She feels betrayed by me because I'm not going, and she said she's too emotionally drained / upset at me to talk. I've essentially been ghosted for the last month, even though I asked if she wanted to talk about things, so maybe it's safe to say I'm out of the wedding, or there is no wedding, ? Regardless, I'm not sure this friendship is surviving this one, nor do I want to call someone a friend with that behavior. Someone goes, of course she's betrayed. If she's giving you the silent treatment, she's made the decision to end the friendship herself. This isn't true friend behavior. Count your blessings with this Bridezilla opting out before you spent a fortune. Yeah, and the thing is, too, with these Bridezillas, it's like just going to a wedding is expensive. You have to probably buy a dress, probably purchase new shoes. You are probably going to have to travel some distance, even if it is down the road, because you're going to be drunk. You're going to be like stumbling around. You're probably going to want to stay at the hotel. If you're in the wedding and there's wedding events like the rehearsal dinner and stuff, you probably want to be in the same space that everybody else is in. So it's going to be expensive regardless. So to expect that people are just going to like spend their life savings on you and your wedding, is unreasonable. It is. I think that we just have to communicate this stuff a lot earlier. Like, just communicate it all earlier. All right, moving on. Am I the a-hole for suggesting bridesmaid gets a part-time job? The audacity. The audacity already. All right, let's see. Man, I'm just getting triggered left and right and center. I, 32 female, am getting married this fall about 3,000 miles away in our hometown. Most of the people in our wedding still live there, but a few bridesmaids live locally. One of them, 27 female, we'll call her Erica, is unemployed. She finished her MA 3 years ago, but hasn't worked for the last 2 years. She had a job when she said yes to being in the wedding, but lost it a few months later and told me she would not be able to fly over all 3 times for the celebrations, dress fitting, batch party, and wedding, and would only be able to fly for the wedding. Yeah, perfectly reasonable. I said that was fine and decided to move the bachelorette weekend to an area a few hours from us and have the rest of my bridesmaids fly in for that since they won't have to travel in for the wedding. I mentioned that since they were flying in, she and the other 2 local bridesmaids would be responsible for more expenses to even it out. What? Erica told me that she was happy to be able to come to the batch party now, but that her situation hasn't changed and she is still on a tight budget. She moved back in with her grandparents and has no expenses. What? I need to reread this. Okay. I moved the bachelorette weekend to an area a few hours from us and have the rest of the bridesmaids fly in for that since they won't have to travel for my wedding. Since they're flying in, she and the other 2 local bridesmaids would be responsible for more expenses to even it out. That is not fair. How dare you? I don't understand why she can't do something to make money during the day if the wedding expenses are such a burden to her. When I mentioned it to her, she looked shocked and got super embarrassed. She told me that she doesn't have time during the day to work because she's working on an art thing for a show coming up, but that's not until after my wedding. She even got to the point of tearing up and telling me how little is in her bank account, which I thought was pretty weird and manipulative. What? Do people not know what manipulative means? I guess narcissists just always think that everyone else who doesn't abide and bend to their wishes is manipulative. How would you handle this? Am I being a bridezilla, or how would you explain to her that these are the bare minimum duties as a bridesmaid? What? She literally, see, this is why it feels like everything I just said is moot. Not mute, Erin, moot. Like, it doesn't matter, because there are always going to be people like this who are just unreasonable. If you have money to spare, why are you adding? It's like you're adding on expenses and then asking the person that just told you she can't afford it to pay more now. And if she had an opportunity, I mean, that is a very vulnerable thing to have to to get laid off, or I don't know her situation, but lose her job and then have to move back in with her family. That's very, very vulnerable. Like, that's not a situation that everyone wants to be in. And she's probably doing her best to get by and do things that are fulfilling for her. And you should be a better friend and honor your friend and her boundaries, honestly. Someone says, you sound disturbingly entitled. It's beyond rude to tell someone to get an extra job so they can spend that money on you. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Wow, thank you for saying exactly what I was going to say. I think that's probably the rudest thing I've ever heard of saying to someone that is honoring you with even being in your wedding. Why don't you throw in some extra bucks to cover her? You're the asshole. Yes, you are a bridezilla. It is absolutely not your place to tell someone how to live, when to work, and how to spend their money. Your special day is only special to you. Oh my effing God, you cannot be an effing real person. There is no way. Jesus effing Christ, the absolute entitlement of some people just completely out to lunch. It's like your cornbread ain't done in the middle. I've never heard that before. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, you sound classist and like a terrible friend. Why are you airing out her personal financial issues on Reddit? Do you even like this girl? Oh my gosh. I'm just glad I don't have a friend like this. I cut people off pretty quick though, so. You got one shot, okay? Do not miss your chance to blow. All right. The entitlement though, we have to respect each other's boundaries, especially in this economy. We got to respect the financial troubles and boundaries that people have. It is rough out there, and just don't be like these bridezillas. And I actually need to go reschedule my bachelorette party and cancel my villa that everyone's already paid for and refund all my bridesmaids. Anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for watching. Do not be a bridesmaid. Do not be a bridesmaid. Oh my gosh, Freudian slip. Do not be a bridezilla this summer. Share with me any of your crazy bridezilla stories, and let's hope I do not become one as my wedding date gets closer and closer. Let me know what you thought about this video down below. I appreciate you all for supporting my video, and have an amazing rest of your weekend. I will see you in the next video very soon. Talk to y'all later. Bye.